What's up guys, welcome to your 13th PHP tutorial. And in this tutorial I'm going to be talking about how to use an array with a loop. And I'm pretty much going to be teaching you guys how to spit out all your elements in your array at once. So the first thing we need to do this is of course an array. And so I'm just going to call mine test. You can call yours whatever you want. And then you type array, and I'm just going to make a simple array right now. I'll add some names. You can add either numbers or some text years. I'll name mine Tom, Tony, Greg, and I'll just use another one. So I got my array. It's Tom, Tony, Greg, and Mike. End that with a semicolon. And then the next, after we create an array, let me move that so you can see the whole thing. We want to create one of our loops, and we can use any of the loops we learned. And to spit out all of them, the easiest way is to use the for loop. And I'll tell you why later. And remember, when you're creating a for loop, inside your parameters, you don't use the variable you created. Inside the parameters has its own entirely new set of variables. The first one will set x equal to 0. Remember, the first one we just have to define the variable. So we're going to set it x, and we're going to make it equal to 0. And after it, add a semicolon. And then the next one, we define the parameter, and we'll just say, so every time the variable x is less than the size of the variable test. And this might be new to you guys. The size of automatically gives the size of this. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. I could say every time it's less than 4, but then later on if we wanted to change it, if we change the size of the array, we'd have to come back and change all this code. So when you're doing this, always use size of. It's built-in function in PHP, and it'll automatically correct your array for you. Just 100% better than anything else, so don't learn anything else. And the last element of our parameter, we just want to tell it how much to increment it by. So we're going to say just increment it by 1 every time. So now that we have that, we have all our parameters. We say at first start out equal to 0, and right here we just have to tell it that there's this many elements we're going to be working with, and we're just going to say add 1 every time. So what this thing does is a loop. It's going to loop through this, go this, 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 this. But now we have to tell it that we want to see it on the screen. So I write echo, write your variable test, and then you write in your braces the variable x, because that's what we defined. So this tells to loop it through, and this says put it out on the screen so we can see it when you're done. So if we saved it and went and refreshed it, you see Tom, Tony, Greg, Mike. And of course you can add spaces or line breaks to make this more readable. But I just wanted to give you guys the basic version of how you loop through an array. Now in a review one last time, create your array up here. In any loop, and it's easier to use the for loop, you can use this exact syntax every time. You can just copy it and paste it. And just change the variable with whatever your variable is here and here. So you define your function and says it's equal to 0 to start, and we just want to increment it by 1, just a regular every time. This is just your basics. And then spit it out on the screen, and whatever value x is at the time, that's the one you use. So study this and learn it, and the next time I'm going to be talking about how to go through a different loop and make this a lot easier. Thanks.